if that's okay with you. Of course. Okay, awesome. Hi everybody, it's so nice to be here at the first ever, right? Relax and Reframe. That's very exciting. I am Laura DeCraker Lang-Ree, and by day I'm an educator, and by all other hours I'm a cancer warrior mama to Cecilia. She was diagnosed in '99 and for ALL and treated right here at Stanford, and she is a survivor, as you can tell. That was her and I not too long ago on a very special day trying on wedding dresses, because she is a newly married young woman. I am a passionate advocate for kids with cancer and their parents, and the journey began when Cecilia was in treatment. When our daughter was diagnosed with childhood leukemia, the lack of information for parents navigating everyday life was heartbreaking, and it was utterly frustrating to me. I personally had no idea what else to do except to show up for appointments, and nor did I know what to ask for and what to advocate for. Does anybody else still feel a little bit lost? That's what I hear from parents online these days, is that we feel lost. Thanks to our support group, which was Jacob's Heart, who I understand might be here this afternoon, a bunch of amazing moms I met in Clinic D and online, I did eventually find my way and my strength. But it shouldn't have been so hard, and frankly, I was pissed off. I was sure that everything I needed to know about navigating life with cancer at home and at the hospital was out there somewhere, but it wasn't in the form of a book, and frankly, it still isn't. Our medical teams, my medical team, was absolutely amazing at diagnosing, creating the perfect protocol for Cecilia's cancer, the medical side of things. But the rest is up to us. And for me, that piece was sorely missing and still is. Because I wanted to know, how do I advocate for my child? What could I advocate for? How do my husband and I care for her without losing our marriage? How do I talk to my other children about cancer? How do I teach Cecilia to manage the over 2,000 pokes and prods she ended up getting? How can I be part of the medical team and make a difference? How do I take care of my family? How do I ask for help? And of course, how do I take care of myself? So during treatment, this frustration became a little more constructive, and before long, I knew I had a book on me, but I needed a little time and a little space. So in 2020, I started writing in earnest. I got a publisher last year, and I'm thrilled to say that the Cancer Parents Handbook, What Your Oncologist Doesn't Have Time to Tell You, is launching in February. We decided to hold on it. It's actually ready, but it's World Cancer Awareness Month, and that will be a great way to get a message out for people. The Cancer Parents Handbook was born out of anger, but it was written with love and a desire to help. I was really lucky to collaborate with a lot of Cecilia's medical team from Stanford, Dr. Dahl, Pam Simon, Dr. Stephanie Smith, our wonderful nurse practitioner Stacy, Jacob's Heart, and a bunch of current cancer warrior moms and dads online who were gracious enough these last 4 years to let me be on their Facebook groups and learn more about what's going on today. The Cancer Parents Handbook will take you through the entire journey and offers tips to increase your toolbox and empower you through this journey. I was excited to speak at Relax and Reframe, as the self-care side of things was something I personally struggled with a lot during treatment. I suffered, but after listening and learning from a lot of really smart people, I came out stronger than I could have imagined, and it is really a strong desire of mine that other parents have that strength too. So today I'm here to talk with you about just one chapter of the book that I'm passionate about, self-care and setting boundaries for you. My focus will be on taking care of your body with realistic and nurturing activities. I wanted to say, I was thinking about this morning before we start. I'm well aware that we know how to take care of our bodies and our souls, but there's something that happens when our kids get cancer. It's like everything else becomes paralyzed in our life and we forget. So I'm here to be your coach, to be your cheerleader, to empower you to remember how to do those things. As parents of kids with cancers, we know we spend most of our waking hours and sleepless nights thinking of, worrying about, and obsessing over every aspect of our child's body and soul, which is perfectly natural. But what about you? How are you doing right now? And who's looking after you? You're person number one for your child in normal times, and now you find yourself as a health advocate for a life-threatening illness, and that's a really big undertaking. You might also be juggling a job, other children, parents, a partner, a spouse. So the idea of putting yourself first can seem selfish. And many of us even feel guilty for taking a moment to ourselves, right? But it's essential. Commit to putting that oxygen mask on first, and you can learn to thrive even in these circumstances. In the early months, that's my husband Arna and our 2 kids. We now have 3. We were really awful at taking care of each other during cancer because we were so focused on giving every single thing to our kids. We didn't have time for each other, much less ourselves. We didn't have the bandwidth to take care of another person, no matter how much we loved them. But the truth is, both you and your child need love and attention, especially as you fight something as big as cancer. When you hyper-focus only on your child's needs for 3 months, a year, 3 years, without self-care, life is going to be unsustainable. I learned that the hard way when constant stress and anxiety during treatment years negatively hijacked my mood, my sleep, my ability to make sound decisions. My lack of self-care rendered it impossible to begin to identify anything good that was happening in my life because my tank was perpetually empty and all I felt was despair. But slowly I did find the tools. That meant I put my oxygen mask on first so I could breathe to be better able to handle whatever was going to come next. So these practices, and the ones I'm going to share with you and I share in my book, became a turning point for our family to find, yes, a new normal, a healthier mojo, how about that? And that's why today's focus specifically on you. And by the way, in the Cancer Parents Handbook, I do have a complete chapter that is just about how do you help your child's body and soul in a proper way while they're in treatment. But we're not talking about them today. It's just about you. So I want to talk about for a second why self-care matters, and I'm going to give you 3 really good reasons. 1, I know your objective is to be there for your family and that kid who's in treatment. And when you take care of yourself first, then you have the bandwidth to do that for your child. 2, running on fumes for years on end can result in anxiety, trauma, even PTSD as we're learning, and other long-term health issues. And the last thing you want is to go from one health crisis to another in your family. And simply the most important reason is because you matter. You're worth it. I know that establishing a self-care habit can feel burdensome, especially when you're in crisis, and I remember that. So what I do in the Cancer Parents Handbook and what I will do today is give you options and expert suggestions for things you can do right now to take care of your body and soul realistically. Some ideas are small, some are easy to do, and others require a tiny bit more commitment. Some are totally free, and some cost money. But all provide the opportunity for reflection and restoration, and opens up space in your life for new ways of thinking. So we're going to talk about taking care of your body with 2 different kinds of practices. One is movement practices, what we kind of more think about moving our body. And the second is things that are nourishing for our body. But first, I understand that you have a journal and a pen. Would you mind grabbing that? And I want you to dump for just a minute and just write down for me, what self-care routine or what self-care thing do you wish you actually were doing right now? And what's getting in your way? Try to avoid saying cancer's in my way or not having time, because we totally know that. But if there's something specific you can say about what is in my way and what do I really wish I could do right now for myself, and just take a minute. If you could turn to the person next to you or the person behind you or in front of you, and just share. Just tell them what you're feeling, what you wish you could do, and what you don't have time to do. Any volunteers? Somebody share with me? One juicy thing they wish they were doing for themselves? Yeah.
Probably eating better. Healthier.
And what's standing in your way, do you feel?
Paralysis.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like that freeze response.
Yeah, and it's easier.
And the mental energy to put a helping meal together.
Too much brain space. Yeah. Which, speaking of space, that's the first thing that we have to do if there's going to be any self-care that happens, is to ask for help. So here's a couple of ideas to get you going, because I know from myself and my peers when we were going through cancer treatment, from current cancer patients I've been interviewing for 4 years, that's a big one, is asking for help. So here's some ideas. Tag team with your partner weekly. My husband and I still do that to this day. On Sunday afternoon or whatever, look at the week ahead and give each other the grace of a bit of time where you can just check out from the whole family. You know, that neighbor that we often have was always kind of tentatively saying, how's it going? How are you doing? Ask them, can you come over on Thursdays between 4 and 4:30 and then get out of the house? If you're inpatient, ask Child Life Services for a volunteer to come hang out with your child, to read them a book, to do something. And the last one is, when your friends ask you what you can do, what they can do for help, actually tell them. Give them a specific day, give them a specific time, because in general, people wanna help. So ask them, and if you feel weird about it, and I know I did, just remember that you can pay it forward some other time. This will set yourself up for success. All right, so nurturing your body. Now that you've created a little space, I'm gonna give you some examples of how to nurture a body that are medically proven to help stress out people. These are things you know about, but these are curated more for what you're going through right now with cancer treatment. Massage is one of the best ways to relax and detoxify your stress. It releases tension in your muscles, it raises your mood by elevating neurotransmitters in your body, and it's actually good for your immune system too. So if you can swing it, it's really nice to find a practitioner that you can see regularly, because you can tell them what you're going through and ask for specific help. There's a little trick that I learned recently though, because that can get expensive. So there are massage schools in major cities. So I go to one in Santa Cruz now called Cypress, and they train their students for a certain number of months, and then they have to have clients come in to practice. Now, an hour massage, which might be $100 or more, is $25. And a 2-hour massage is $50, if you can imagine. So look for massage schools near you. Vitamin D, as we all know, is from the sun, actively fights depression by increasing your serotonin, which is a hormone key to stabilizing your mood and increasing happiness. And the best way to get it is to just take your lunch outside for 20 minutes. Now, if you're having trouble sleeping, I have learned that if you go out before 10 in the morning, that can really help you with your circadian rhythm to reset it. And I know that that was a big problem for me during treatment. And in winter, if it gets gloomy around here, consider purchasing a therapy lamp, a light therapy lamp, and use it in the mornings. And they're on Amazon for as little as $15. And remember, try your very best to stop scrolling an hour to an hour and a half before you go to bed, because that's really gonna help you out to get a good night's sleep. Third idea for nourishing your body, so simple and easy if you're lucky enough to have a bathtub, is to actually take that bath. If you have little ones at home, you might consider saving that thing that they love to do so much for when you want to hop into the bath, even for 20 minutes. Use Epsom salts, which you can get at Target or any grocery store, and I use a lot because it really helps to maximize the detoxification. And then add an essential oil that has a scent that makes you feel good. I always recommend, we used to put lavender essential oil on Cecilia's pillow at the hospital because it is said to have calming properties, which was really, really nice. There's something called restorative yoga, which isn't the yoga that you think about, but this is a nourishing kind of yoga, and all you really need is a couple of pillows and a yoga mat. So if you go on YouTube and you Google restorative yoga, you're going to find practitioners who lead you through a series of maybe 2, maybe 4 poses that absolutely make your body melt. They're amazing to do before bed with the lights out. And I'm gonna say, because I do bring up yoga a couple of times, if there's one thing I suggest you purchase to take care of your body, it would be a yoga mat, because you can take it to and from the hospital. The 5th thing that is nurturing for your body, like massage, is acupuncture, where you can totally relax and unwind. It takes down that stress level and it centers you. It, by the way, can be quite common in some hospitals for helping from everything with pain management to nausea and to aid the boost immune system. So ask your hospital social worker if that's an option. It tends to be just for the child, but it might get you aware of and interested in it for yourself. I had an acupuncturist. I was very lucky to have one in Los Gatos. She's still in practice. And it was very much a centering, life-saving thing for me when I could swing it. And a stroll. Strolls can be very nurturing for the soul, and I'm not talking about power walk, I'm not talking about sweating, but to leave that hospital bedside, particularly when you're inpatient on a regular basis. I know when we were at Stanford, and now it's even more beautiful, just to get out in that sunshine, if you did it even a couple of laps just right out there, it makes a huge difference. Get outside, rain or shine, and take a deep breath. It is quite nourishing. So those are 6 ideas for you. Massage, getting sunshine, taking a bath, restorative yoga, a stroll, acupuncture. It's just a few, really to get you thinking. All of them nurture your body, but there are so many more. So think about what might feel good to you and jot it down in your notebook if you already have it. So our second part is physical work, and we all know that daily exercise can make a huge difference, even if it's just a short walk or a few minutes of stretching, and you don't have to go crazy, especially at this point in your lives with what you're going through. The goal is to move regularly and to keep it as part of your routine, no matter how small the effort, because it really can be me time. Is anybody still like to go to the gym or can get to the gym in the midst of this? Not really, kind of, sort of. So I'm just gonna skip right to something if you used to like to work out, but you can't really find the time now, and that is the Peloton app, which many insurance plans are covering for a year. I know mine, United Healthcare, does. What's nice about Peloton is it has yoga and it has body weight activities that you can do in the hospital or you can do at home if you're like, I just need to move my body or I just need to stretch. It's not a pricey app, and again, it can be free on various sites. And then if you get more ambitious and want to add weights, they have amazing weight training programs as well. If you're able to hike, get outside, and it's such a great workout, but it's also a chance to be in nature, so it's a double win. It's nourishing and it's moving your body. It can be great to hike solo as just a way to sort of decompress. Maybe you want to cry, maybe it just feels good to breathe deeply, or you can take that one friend you know is a good listener and just vent. The third physical option is walking again, and I bring it up because it's simple as effective. But this is maybe more of what we might call a power walk, so you're booking it. It's easy to fit into your day wherever you are, if you're at work, if you're at the hospital, if you're at home. A few laps around the block or even down the halls can clear your head, so try to do a couple times a day. No pressure way to stay active. Yoga, again, if you're a yoga person, is a great way to move your body and calm your soul. We know the Peloton app has things, but also YouTube has free classes. And if you're just a beginner and you're like, I just want to know what yoga stretching is like, it can be an awesome way to get a workout in. There's even share yoga. So if you're really stuck at the hospital for a long time, look up the word share yoga either on YouTube or on Peloton and take 10 minutes just for yourself. The point is really to find what you love and think about activities that make you smile and are realistic for your current situation. Whether it's dancing around the house or rollerblading or taking a class for date night, find what brings you joy and get moving. It doesn't have to be elaborate, it has to be consistent. How many people wrote some variation in their journals of I don't have time? Something about time. A couple of you? Yeah, we know that time can be tight, especially when caring for a child. So I want to give you a couple of options for moving your body and nurturing your body when you've got the kids in tow. So that picture on the bottom left is our older two, Maddie and Cecilia. And I'm not sure what happened, but I was a little stressed out when they told me we had to come back so frequently to Stanford, and I knew there were weekly labs involved. And I'm not sure what possessed me, but I asked our medical team, like, can I just do that at home? We weren't that far, but it was 40 minutes here, 40 minutes back, and I felt the stress of going into the hospital on a regular basis. I didn't feel like it would necessarily be good for her either. So with some coordination, the answer was yes. So every week, we'd load them in the bike trailer with their snacks and their books. They were as happy as clams, and then I took that bike as far as I wanted to, whatever my mental state was, got my workout, landed at the labs. It was great because the phlebotomist got to know us. They ushered us right in. Seal sat on my lap, baby sister held the hand. Off we went to Noah's Bagels. By the time I got home, the labs were there. That stress of coming to the hospital was relieved. I got a workout. My kids thought it was the best thing ever. So if there's something like that in your world that you can sort of combine your efforts, that's a win. Taking your kid out for a hike and a walk, you know that can be a mesmerizing time, and it's so nice because there's no germs. There's generally no people around. It helps you get cardio, and it's just fun for them to get some fresh air. If you're at a park or you're at a beach, there's something called grounding, where you take off your shoes and it can just walk around either the sand or the earth. It's supposed to reduce anxiety and improve mental clarity. And for your child, it's a sensory experience that's just kind of fun to do. Running around the park and the beach is lovely. If you truly are stuck inside, even if it's a rainy day, if you can find some way to get outside and play with your kid, of course they're gonna love being with you and playing with you. It gets you a tiny bit of cardio, it gets you out of the house and moving together. There's that yoga again, because it can be such a mesmerizing thing for both youngins and old. So I've seen children as young as 4 all the way up through high school just really sink into the idea of mindfulness that's led by somebody that's not their parent. And again, on YouTube, I don't think Peloton has family yoga, but YouTube has great practitioners online for family yoga class. Some are Disney themed, some are other kid-like themes, and it takes the pressure off of you having to do anything, and you both get something special to do that helps your mind and your body. And of course, who doesn't love a little dance party? When we were in treatment, I'm not sure why, but both my husband and I are musicians, so we created a playlist when we were really either freaked out or burned out or we needed inspiration. So we built this playlist, which we now have on Spotify, and we would just let the music rip on Fridays while pizza was cooking. It's a great little way to get some cardio. It boosts your mood always, because who can't but smile at their children when they're dancing around the room? And for your child, it's pure joy. And I'll tell you, to this day, when our adult children are home on a Friday, and sometimes they do this by FaceTime, we still crank the music and have a dance party, although it's now with margaritas. Now, I know some of you out there perhaps are a little more ambitious, so I'm going to mention something for people who are looking for either more help or bigger commitment. There are some amazing childhood fundraising organizations that can help you do that. You could train for a full or half marathon, do a 100-mile bike ride, or even a triathlon, all while raising money for cancer research. Your child might be a team honoree. That's Cecilia up there smiling her pants off as the honoree. And the best part is you have professional coaches who help you every single step of the way. So you can work towards your personal goals and get trained, and then be also thinking about somebody else. Our family had an awesome experience with Team and Training, and obviously this is something my husband and I coordinated because it was a huge time commitment for him, so I got other free time. Being part of TNT gave us something positive to focus on in our family. Arna ran a marathon. He did not like that so much. He biked a century and he loved it. He got in great shape. He made $30,000 for our cause, and Cecilia and Maddie were treated like queens. The rest of the team just showered them with love and affection. It's quite fun to do. Okay, so let's be real. Without carving out time and space and getting some support, these changes that you want to make aren't going to last, because it's so easy to fall back into old patterns. I know this is especially hard for whoever is the primary caregiver, the mom or the dad, because we're so used to being available for every little thing, whether it's finding the lost sock or solving the latest sibling meltdown. But here's the thing, it's not sustainable, especially when you're dealing with something like cancer. You're likely feeling the weight of being everybody's go-to person, and it's exhausting. And I remember what that was like. It is in our nature to want to be there for everyone. And sometimes I think we get a little too comfortable in that role because it does make us feel needed and important. But the truth is this, your kids and your partner will be fine if you take a step back and find, when they see you prioritizing your well-being, it's teaching them that it's okay to do the same, and that's a lesson that they need. So to wrap, I want to review your keys to success to help nurture and move your body. So you're going to establish consistent alone time. Even if it's just 10 minutes, it's essential. It is not selfish, it is survival. You're going to start with small, achievable goals. Small wins lead to bigger successes. The point is, don't overwhelm yourself with all this. Make it manageable and something you can fit into your day. 3, try habit changing. This is a game changer. It means if you're already doing something, like going to get the paper every morning, pick it up and keep going around your cul-de-sac. Maybe do that for the first week. Second week, make it twice. Or if you're the coffee maker in the house, perhaps you do 10 squats while it's happening. Before you know it, you will have changed several habits into your daily routine without feeling like you're adding more to your plate. And keep it realistic. This life right now is hard enough. So don't set yourself up for failure by aiming for the impossible. It's okay if your workout is walking up and down the halls while you wait for some labs. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, it just means showing up for yourself, however that looks today. Figure out what nurtures your body the most, and I want you to try to do that for now once a week. Make that your goal. Find something that moves your body and try it 3 times a week, even if it's only 15 minutes a day. And finally, make self-care absolutely non-negotiable. Treat it like it's sacred time, because it is sacred time. Set clear boundaries with your loved ones, and yes, that will mean saying no sometimes. The world isn't gonna end if you're gone for 30 minutes, and everyone will be more recharged when you are happier. All right, I'm gonna ask you to grab your journal one more time, and this is just for you. I want you to, because this is in part not only a physical game, it's a mental game by setting the intention. So just stop, jot down, I intend to, and write down what you're gonna do for yourself this week. The second part of that is, what's the one thing that could derail my plan? And the reason I'm asking you to look at that is because if you can think about that ahead of time, it's called coping planning, you'll have a backup ready and be able to just pivot so that you can keep that sacred time for yourself, no matter what it is. Taking time to nourish your body and your soul is gonna be your lifeline to getting through this journey, not just intact, but stronger. You have the power to come out of this mentally, emotionally, and physically whole. A centered and healthy, yes, eventually healthy, happy parent is going to have a ripple effect on everyone's well-being in your family. So be kind to yourself. Prioritize what fills you up and know that you're writing a new narrative now, one where you come out stronger and more resilient for whatever comes next. I'm so excited to share the Cancer Parent Handbook with all of you. That was just one tiny chapter of the book that goes into all areas of how we help our families, our siblings, being in the hospital, what it's like to advocate for your child, what you can ask for, how you get help from friends. And if you're interested, you can certainly ask the QR code. This is new to me, so I did find out yesterday from my publisher that in bulk, she's able to get a discount. So if you wanna see me at lunch and just give me your email, I could gather names and have it shipped to you in February when it's out for a sale. So thank you so much for having me. It was nice to be here.